Hello there. So I've been asked to show how I apply the cotton to my hurdy-gurdy. So I thought I'd just make a little video of the process, like a lot of other hurdy-gurdy players have done. And there are loads of great tutorials out there, and I should say this is just how I do it for this particular gurdy. It might work on yours as well, if you want to try this way. However, it could also not really work with your instrument, so keep that in mind if you want to try it. First off, I'll just say I usually use viscose cotton, or rayon as it's also known as, I believe. Regular cotton works just as fine. I've just come to use rayon as it's what this gurdy came with. And as you can see, this gurdy has a synthetic wheel. I believe it's some sort of ceramic material. It's very shiny, reflecting the lights. And I also use liquid rosin in one of these. It's one of these felt tip pens with a pump inside of it. Now, these can be risky to use. Since you pump it, you add the liquid to the felt tip. If you overdo it, it might drip. So just be careful. If you pump it, just shake it about a bit away from the gurdy to see if there's any excess liquid in the tip, in the nib, that might drop out. So be careful if you would like to use these. Yeah, I also glue my rosin to the string because I do the backwards and forwards playing sometimes, which means I have to remove the cotton on the string with the help of some alcohol. I'm going to change the cotton on my middle string, which is a G string. Sounds something like that. What I use for that is isopropanol, I believe it's called, 99.5%. And I use one of these droppers. Now be careful again. I just been shaking it by the side of the gurdy so it doesn't have any excess liquid on it. You don't want to spill that on your instrument. What I do, the string is away from the wheel. I add a tiny drop of alcohol to the cotton. Careful not to spill it, and I sort of rub it backwards and forwards to unwrap the cotton a bit. I pull it to the side, it's right here right now, and carefully with my fingers and my thumbnail actually, I remove it. I'm not pulling on the string, I'm pulling on the cotton beside the string. I don't know if you can tell. Just remove that, and do mind that there's no cotton left. Well, this was tricky. Might want to skip forward a bit, a few seconds in the video, because this is taking a good while. There you go, it's gone. No cotton left. What I do then is I grab some of my cotton, or I should say rayon or viscose. Now I use very little cotton, as little as possible. I don't know if you can see on the other strings. Very neatly and tightly wrapped. For my middle G string I have to use a little bit more because it's not as close to the wheel as the other strings. I actually should file the groove down a bit. I'll try to show you something like this. I would say this is a bit on the much side, a bit too much maybe for other strings. For this one it might work. What I do then, the string is still disengaged from the wheel, it's not touching. I spin the wheel forwards, let the cotton go underneath the string, sort of move it along a bit with the finger. Also, wash your hands before doing this. I spin the wheel forwards, turn the wheel forwards, while pulling the rayon cotton backwards against the string with my finger, not touching the wheel obviously. And if it's starting to get unevenly wrapped here, like more to one side, you can simply just unwrap it a bit and move it along with your finger until it's quite even, something like that. What I then do is I put the string down lightly, do a few turns, press it lightly, have a spot on my wheel. You can actually see it there. There it is. That's probably from when I removed the cotton with the alcohol. I'll fix that later. So it's not really tightly wrapped. It's sort of still going out a bit on the front of the wheel. So what I do then is I grab my paper towel. I can't speak today. You can use a cloth, a lint-free cloth, if you have that. Then I actually put it against the cotton, pulling backwards while turning the wheel forwards. Sort of a backwards motion and inwards to the wheel from the sides. If it's springing out on the sides, the cotton, you can pull it inwards like that a bit. I'm not pressing too hard, but those noises will happen. Now, I don't twist these strings because that might damage the windings on these viola strings. I do it on the trumpet strings sometimes because they're not as easy to break. Something like that. Now, I mentioned I do the backwards and forwards playing, so what I do then to glue the cotton in place. Some people like to put the rosin on the string beforehand, before putting the cotton on. I prefer to do it afterwards. So what I do is I take my felt tip pen. I simply just dab the cotton very lightly. It's not on the wheel. And then I take my paper towel and just put it backwards, removing the excess liquid. Now this has to dry for maybe a minute or so I won't be playing that. I can show you how I do the rosining, apply the rosin with my felt tip. It's quite simple. I put it against the wheel while turning, a few rounds like that, and then I take my paper towel, press it against quite hard, a few rounds like that. Spin it a bit to help it dry, maybe it doesn't, I don't know, I like to do it anyways. Then it should be fine to play. Something like that. I think that's about it. And again, this is how I do it on this gurdy. Be careful when you're trying it on your instrument if you would like to try this way. As for the other strings, it's basically the same method, just more cotton for the drones, about as much as the melody strings for the trumpet strings. I think that's it. I hope this helps. Maybe someone will find some of it interesting. All the best to you. Goodbye.